Hello everyone, this is Douglas Halford. I have been asked to do a tutorial on making a particular heart-shaped pendant. It looks like this. It's a heart and it kind of goes around in a kind of a knotted shape here. And I just gonna start making it from Blender. I'll go in here, hit A, just select everything. You can either hit delete or the X key. Either one will activate the delete function. Delete all of it. And then, here, I just didn't realize I had done this earlier, but this is the 3D cursor right here. I just kind of want that zeroed out for now. But first thing I want to do is I'm actually going to make at least one half of this shape. To do that, I'm going to go in here and go to Bezier curve. Just make that. I'm going to hit my 7 key to go to the top view. See what I got. And you do actually kind of want to have the center of that in the middle. I'll tell you that in a minute. But you hit tab to go into edit mode. Then you can see the 2 points here, and you can edit them from here. And you can hit rotate to do it that way, or you can select a single point and hit G to grab it and move it around. It'll automatically move the other side as well. But you'll want to, I'm going to start from probably from this point right here and move my way around like that. Kind of guess where the second point's going to be, rotate that. And to, in other programs like Maya, you would select the tool and then kind of click your points around. But in this case, you would hit E to extrude it to create another point. That's the Blender way of doing it. Just keep extruding. Go down here and go ahead and make this point down here. But I'm going to need a second one in here for this curve right there, so I'm going to go ahead and select these 2 dots right here, go to Tools, and Subdivide to create a point in between them. Not extrude, rotate. There we go. Correct my shape here. I'm going to go ahead and go extrude here. So we're going to continue that curve. Going up around. That's actually going through here. Oops. Just extrude that, go down to here, make that point down there. And there's half my shape right there. Now I'm going to have to edit this again because obviously it doesn't look quite the same as this, but it's easier to see what exactly you're dealing with when you double-side it. So I'm going to come out of here. Yeah, obviously that's not going to be right, but I'm going to go like this, do a modifier, do mirror, just so I can kind of see what the shape is that I've got. And I'm going to go in here and edit it from there. You can actually scale it down to make those curves a little less harsh. That's going to need to be brought out here. Maybe like that. It's brought out here. Down. Bring this up here. Basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make this as smooth as possible. Man, keep hitting that. Now here, you'll notice this curves around, but this here actually comes down to a point and shoots off again. So right here you'll hit V to change it to a vector, so it comes down to a point. And you can edit each one of these separately. Now, that's looking pretty good, but again, I'm probably going to have to edit this some more because of the simple fact that this is not going to be just a simple line. There's going to be some thickness to it. So, from here, I am going to create another Bezier curve, or Bezier, or however you want. Whoops, I actually wanted to do that outside of edit mode to create a different object. That over here. Oh, I'm sorry, not a Bezier curve. That actually complicates things. You actually want to use a circle. Scale that down. And then we'll want to select this guy to come over here. And you'll want to go to bevel object. Taper object is something different. That's probably for a different tutorial. But bevel object, you'll go here and select this Bezier circle here. Bam. There you go. There's your shape. And it's really, really thick. A little too big. So go in here, scale this down a little farther to change the thickness. That might even actually work out good. About right there. I'll come in here, change my shape some more. Rotate that around. These are obviously, we don't obviously want these overlapping, so we'll just move these apart. Now you notice that these aren't really connecting the two sides, but that's okay, we'll deal with that later. You know what, I actually think I want to move these two down a little bit. Move that. Nice little... There we go. There's a nicer heart shape right there. This is actually pointing out too much. Up too much. Yeah, you just kind of tweak your curves until they get to the shape you'll want. That's a too intense right there, I think. Scale that down. Scale that down. Scale that up. That's pretty close. This is still a little funky right in there. But again, you can move that around manually until it looks the way you want it to. Yeah, I do want some overlap in there because you can see that they're touching and everything. So you do want a little bit of overlap. That. That should do it right there. Now from here, so you have your shape there. I'm going to make another shape here just so, as an example. Actually, I have another window open here. You'll see that I actually created this kind of dome shape so you can see the flatness on the other side, on the underside. You can actually see that where was it? So this is actually going to be your default setting right here, and you can it's not doing what I thought it would. There we go. So you can actually see that this tilts up, and you don't want that tilting. It's kind of taking the calculation of the curve into consideration, so it's kind of creating this tilt as it goes around. You don't really want that for this particular shape. You can even see it there. It's tilting up into the geometry there. We don't really want that, so you'll want to change that to a Z up to keep that flat throughout the whole thing. Alright. So, I guess for that issue there. But I'm going to go ahead and just continue to use this circle, and I'll show you why here in a bit. But for now, I'm going to go in here, turn off, get rid of this modifier. And I'm actually going to duplicate this object by hitting Shift D. Oh, dang it. I actually want to do that in this mode, in object mode, as opposed to edit mode. We want to hit Shift D to duplicate it. Alright, I've duplicated it, and without moving it, just go to the scale and do -1. That automatically creates my mirror image right there. And from there, you'll actually go here. There's a hotkey for this, but I have a tendency to forget it, so I just hit space to open up kind of a search engine. There's convert to, which is Alt-C. You'll want to create a mesh from the curve. So now we have a workable mesh that you can come in here and edit each point. And you'll actually want to do that to both of these. Alt-C, convert. And there we go. We have two editable objects. Now from here, you'll actually want to combine these two to make them a single object. You'll go up to Tools, Join. It'll change the color. That's just the normals. To fix that, you go to Edit Mode, select All by hitting A. And then you'll come up to Normals. In the Mesh area, Normals, recalculate outside, and it should just fix all of that. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to combine these two little guys here. Sorry for the little confusion there. I have a tendency to mix my head up between Maya and Blender. But yeah, so these two are actually unnecessary edges. So I'm just going to hit X, delete edge loops. I'm going to do these two, do a scale in the X-axis. and 0. Scale those together. And if you're ever confused on which direction you're wanting to scale, there's this little guy down here that'll tell you which direction things are going. And I want to scale this in the Y direction to kind of get that back to the shape I want. 7 perfectly up is a little much. Whoops. Scale and Y. Kind of eyeball that down. There you have it. There's your perfect shape. Now, if I hadn't changed that setting right here, if I hadn't changed this to Z up, these would not have been aligned well, so I wouldn't be able to do this and have it select all one. So, right here, I basically do the same thing up in here. So this right here is an unnecessary loop. Hit Alt to select the loop, Shift Alt to select the second one, X, edge loops to get rid of it, scale X 0, scale Y, and eyeball that to where it kind of comes down in a good little connection there. In this case, I might want to grab it and bring it up a little bit. So yeah, that'll work there. Now, I'm going to move this to the... I'm going to select one of these curves here, move it to the right, just off center. Probably same thing with this one. Now I'm going to do this guy down here. This is the snap tool. You'll want to go to the vertex. You'll select the entire edge there, snap it there, and it'll automatically create. But first, before I do that, I'll want to go down here to mesh and do auto merge editing. So whenever two vertexes overlap each other, whether on accident or on purpose, they will combine with the neighbors next to them, so that becomes one loop instead of two. Zoom in here. There. Now they're both the same loop. So now I can actually come down here and do Alt, select this guy here, and it'll go around the entire thing. Which again, if I had forgotten to do this thing here, those edge loops wouldn't have aligned properly, and I would have ended up selecting the entire object on accident. So, and I figured that out the hard way. I actually had to create this whole thing. I figured that out, made the mistake. I had to actually backtrack a couple of saves to fix that. But now, one of the things to mention is that this is actually a flat object on the bottom. It's a little. It looks to me like it's a little flat, but they wanted a rounded edge, kind of a rounded surface on the top, but a flat on the bottom. So from here, you'll actually select halfway. Maybe hit 3 to go to the side. Hit 5 for a non-orthopedic view. Oh, you can actually see that my curve went down a little bit. I didn't want that. But you can actually select all of these loops. There's a faster way to do that. You can actually hit B, Z to go into kind of this transparent view. You'll hit B, select all the bottom ones. Hit everything below it. You can see I have it, and from here I have actually scaled. From here I'm going to actually scale everything in the Z axis, hit 0. And there you have it. A flat bottom. If they wanted it a little thicker, I just move those down. Whoops. I still have my snap tool on here. Move those down a little bit to make it a little thicker. Boom, have a little thicker. Now, I could have, which I forgot to do actually, I could have actually created these overlaps in the Bezier curve portion of it. So back here, I have this example open. I actually have these lifted up to kind of do that. You can do that in this portion, or you can actually, after you've done that, you can come in here, go to edit mode, maybe select, see which one is on top. It's actually underneath. So this one here was on top. I'm going to go in here, do connected. Oops. Grab Z. I can scale that up if I want, or down. Just using the scroll, the middle mouse scroll button. Bring that up. Oops. Let's see. Hit A to deselect everything. These two. I think that one's actually on the bottom. Move this over a little bit so I can see it better. And that one was actually on the bottom, so I'll be selecting this curve and this curve. Maybe this one as well. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and forget that one, just choose these two. Hit grab, Z, bring those up. And you can do that and you kind of get your corkscrew effect there. Or not corkscrew, your knotted shape. You get that nice kind of knot look going on. Now you can come in here, select all these edge loops again. Come on, you. I'll get in close enough. Then hit scale Z 0. Oh, preferably with this turned off. See, I always forget to do little nuances like that. Scale Z 0, get everything flattened out again. Bring it down, maybe. There you have your knot shape. Also noticing this is a weird shape right here, so I'm just going to bring that up. Deselect these guys here. Oh, to do that, you actually hit Z, or excuse me, C. You can left click to select things, or middle click to deselect things. That's actually a handy little tool there. Got something selected in there. Okay, that's good. Obviously, you'll want to do some more in-depth controls, because I mean that's a weird shape right there to me. I would probably want to smooth that out to connect it, but overall, you know, this is kind of what we're looking for. These edges down here are unnecessary because this is a flat surface, so I'm just going to go in here, select all of these edge loops. And just delete those edge loops. Oh, right. That's right, I have to do it one at a time. Edge loop, edge loop. If you're looking for printing or any kind of animating or anything like that, you do want to get rid of unnecessary edge loops, because they're just eating up memory that are not necessarily needed. So you'll want to do this if you can find them, or they're easy to see. Now there's also some overlap there. In 3D printing that really doesn't matter so much. But you can try and get rid of some of that overlap between these faces. But yeah, that's how you pretty much how you create a heart-shaped pendant. There's also this little loop up here, and I'll just create your Bezier curve again. Tab to edit, reshape it to the way you want. Put top view here. Come on, don't cry. Up. Out a little bit. Bring in the same circle. Alright, there you have it. Then you just do the conversion here. Convert. And then you have an editable mesh there. Then you just, combine these two, join, and then you'd export that for 3D. This model in particular was made for 3D printing, but you can do it for other things as well. Obviously it's not perfect. I mean, I'd have to go and I'd want to go back to the Bezier curve portion and kind of, make this a little bigger in here, because it is in the picture. This has a better curve to it. So it's just, I would want to go in there and read and define it more, but that's basically how it works. And I hope you learned some new things from this video, and thanks for watching.